Hi guys, this is Jason Romero, first and only blind person to run across America and frequent speaker in schools. Thank you for joining me on this three-part series about differences and being different. Episode 1 is going to focus on having a difference, hidden or obvious. Episode number 2 is going to give some tips about interacting with people in their differences and how to make them feel comfortable and for you to be more comfortable. And episode 3, I'm really excited about, which is going to be the eradication of same shame within our own minds and within our communities at large. In this episode, I will talk about how to have successful interactions with people who have differences. This is near and dear to my heart because I have a difference. I am legally blind. I have a degenerative eye condition called retinitis pigmentosa. What has happened is now I have tunnel vision, so I see through a tunnel like this, and I have to scan side to side to pick up an image. I do not have peripheral eyesight. My best corrected visual acuity is 2200 in this eye, 2400 in this eye. That means when I look at a person, I don't see the details of their face. I cannot recognize their facial features. When I look at different objects, they're really, really far away. And another symptom is severe night blindness. So when it gets to be nighttime or you go into a dark restaurant, imagine putting on a blindfold or closing your eyes, and that's how I see. So I have this difference, a disability, if you will. And when I come into contact with another person, when I am identified as just being a blind person, and I get all these questions and the conversation just centers around my blindness, it gets to be kind of awkward for me. And I would imagine it gets to be kind of awkward for the other person as well. So I wanted to be able to give some tips for success for people when interacting with people who have differences. And side note here, fact is we all have differences, right? There's thousands of attributes that we as human beings have. Examples are colors of our skin, gender, economic status. You know, some people have a lot of money, some don't. Some people are very athletic. Some people are attractive. Some people have different diseases. Some people have depression, anxiety. There's just all these different attributes for which we are different. So I suppose these 4 tips could be just how to have successful interactions with anybody. But I'm focusing them on how to have successful interactions when a person has a difference. Tip number 1, focus on the whole person. When you're having an interaction with a person who's different, don't just see that one different attribute. Don't just see me as a blind person. Be curious about me as a whole, all of my attributes. If you focus on all those attributes, you're going to get a much better picture of who I am as a person. You're going to get to know that I have 3 children who I absolutely adore. I'm born and raised in Denver, Colorado. I like to run. I've authored a book. I've been a Paralympian. I have some world records. I'm really bad at knock-knock jokes. There's just a myriad of different things that you will learn about a person when you do not focus on one attribute where there's a difference, but you are curious about and ask questions about all of the attributes of the person. So that's tip number 1 for success. Focus on the whole person. Tip number 2 for successful interactions is be present in the conversation. Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. Don't let your head go to this morning when Rover ate your homework or your report for your boss, and don't let it drift off into the future with, I have to send that email or I have to stop by the store and get eggs and milk. No. You're wasting your precious time. Come back to the present. Give 100% here and now with the person whom you are with. That's all you have. How you spend your time speaks volumes about your priorities in life. And if you're trying to multitask, just a side note here, multitaskers, it's impossible to give 100% of your attention to a person sitting in front of you and 100% of your attention to another thought. Doesn't happen that way. So come back to the present, be present with the person who you are with. And if the person is different than you, there's something really important that you're going to understand when you're present. You're going to start to understand actually how similar you are as opposed to how different you are. So that's success tip number 2. Be present in your communications with the person. Tip number 3, listen more. Wow, we could say that a multitude of times, right? Listen more. My suggestion when we're interacting with a person who has an obvious difference from us and we're focused on that is to reduce our communication to only 25% of what we would usually communicate. Ask less questions. Listen to what the other person is saying. Hang on their every word, their every breath. And when you doing that, you are engaged in what is called active listening. The communication is affecting your brain and your neurological makeup much differently than if you are merely waiting to respond. The interaction, the communication goes much deeper. You're going to learn more. You are going to grow more. So tip number 3, when you're interacting with somebody with a difference, is listen more. Tip number 4, be kind with an open mind. And when you think about that 4-letter word, kind, think of all the descriptors that go along with that. Be encouraging, be empathetic, be compassionate, be understanding. All these additional things, just have them flow out of you when you're with a person who is different. A lot of times with difference, we become scared, we become agitated, we clam up within ourselves. And the act of being kind almost becomes foreign because we're so focused on self-preservation, or we're so hyper-focused on this difference, we've lost track of what we're supposed to be doing, right? We're interacting with another person always because, we're community-based creatures. We're supposed to interact with one another. When we open up our mind and we don't just focus on one solitary difference, the ability to be kind comes naturally. And so just to recap those 4 success strategies for interacting with people who are different. Number 1, focus on the whole person. Number 2, be present in the communication. Number 3, listen more. Number 4, be kind with an open mind. Now, when you use these tools, you are going to get a tremendous personal benefit. So what's in it for me if I do this? Well, funny you should ask, because I'm about to tell you that. The 4 benefits that you're going to get from having great, successful communication with people who are different are 4-fold. Number 1, whole person, whole picture. You're going to understand more. When you focus on the whole person, you're going to have a much better chance at understanding the entire person, the entire situation. So think of it like this. A jigsaw puzzle. When you only have one piece of that jigsaw puzzle, you can't tell what the entire picture is of. But as you start putting more and more pieces together, start understanding more and more attributes of the person, sooner or later, you're going to have a jigsaw puzzle that's going to have like half the pieces put together in different parts of the puzzle. And you're going to be able to tell that that is actually a picture of a sailboat in a harbor. Same is true when you have a conversation with a person and you focus on the whole person. As you talk about more than just that one difference and you start talking about additional attributes of the person, you're going to get a better understanding for who this person is as a whole. Benefit number 2, be present, be connected. We all need to connect. We've had those conversations with people where we chitter chatter and then you leave the conversation, you don't feel connected. 10 minutes later, you're not even sure who the person was. 15 minutes later, you're not even sure what was talked about. Total confusion, total waste of time. The only thing we have valuable in this life is time. And how we choose to spend it speaks volumes about who we are as a person and how we prioritize our life. When you are present, you have an opportunity to truly connect with another person. Have you had a communication where you've met a stranger, you've had a good conversation, and you feel connected to that other person. It's amazing, right? It's amazing. You can even remember it right now as you sit here watching this video. And just a side note, the pathway to connection is a two-step process. One, we must choose to be vulnerable with the other person. Step number two, we must choose to trust the other person. With vulnerability and trust, that is the pathway to connection. When two people do that with one another, it is a tremendous experience. The only way that you have a chance to do that is if you are present. So that's an added benefit of being present in the communication with a person. Benefit number three, listen more, learn more. Who better to learn from than a person who's different from you? If you're speaking with, let's say we have 1,000 attributes as a human being. And if you're speaking with a person who's the same as you in 999 of those attributes, only different in one, what are you going to learn? You know almost everything, right? But what if you're interacting with a person who is the same with you in only 2 attributes and different in 998 attributes? There is a tremendous learning opportunity when we listen to a person who is different than us. And if we choose to do that, we are going to become a better person. It is a path to growth. The more that we interact with people different than us, the more we are going to grow individually. Just a tremendous benefit. And finally, benefit number 4 from interacting and having successful interactions with people who are different. Be kind and feel great. When we are kind to other people, when we help other people, we truly get more than we give. And when we are interacting with a person who is different than us, and we are kind with an open mind, and we leave that interaction and we actually have grown and we've given of ourselves, you are going to feel absolutely so incredible. I can guarantee you one thing, if you use these 4 tips for success, you're definitely not going to feel extremely awkward in talking to me only about my blindness. So this has been Jason Romero. Thank you very much for listening in to this episode. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to my channel. You can find more information about me on www.jasonromero.net. And in the show notes, there's also some more details about how to contact me and my speaking. I'm really looking forward to episode number 3, which is about eradicating same shame. So until we meet again, this is Jason Romero. Onward